Today we're going to talk about using pour-ons in cattle, using the cows, the control of worms sustainably 5 Rs as a baseline of how to go through it all. It's really important to know what parasites you're needing to treat, as different pour-on products have different active ingredients in them which target different types of parasites. So whether you're wanting to treat roundworms, lungworms, fluke, or the ectoparasites, the lice and mites that live on the outside of the cows, it's really important to know which one you're targeting in order to choose the right product for the right parasite. It's also really important when you're thinking about targeting fluke to know which stage of fluke you're wanting to target. So whether it's the immature fluke or the adult fluke or both. The different active ingredients do different stages of fluke. So for example, tricarbendazole does all stages. It does the immature and the adult stages of fluke, whereas something like clozantol will only do the stages of fluke that are 7 weeks and older. It's really important to remember that not all pour-ons can be used in all cattle. For example, some pour-ons can't be used in dairy cattle when they're lactating for human consumption, and others can only be used in dairy cattle during the dry period, but not when they're lactating. Make sure that when you're treating your cattle, that you know that the pour-on is licensed for that animal. Pour-ons won't work as well if your cattle are wet or if their hair is dirty or covered in manure. The animals won't be able to absorb the active ingredients as well, and it's a lot less likely to work. Therefore, make sure that your cattle are always dry and the hair that you're pouring it on is clean and dry. Make sure you don't pour the pour-on to damaged skin, because this can affect the skin, but also makes it less likely for the active ingredient to be absorbed properly. When you are putting it on the cow, you should put it on the flattest part of the back and you pour it along from the withers to the tail head. It's really important to adhere to the dose rates given on the packaging with the pour-ons. These are normally in mils per kilo, and sometimes they're broken down a bit into mils per 50 kilo. So it's really important to adhere to that. It's also important to make sure that you know the weight of your cattle, the live weight. So you can do this with weighing scales attached to a crush or with a weigh band. And it's really important not to underdose your cattle because the worm is then less likely to work. But also you can increase resistance, parasite resistance. Pour-ons need to be administered with the correct equipment, and this is often through a tube with a special pour-on gun that comes with the anthelmintic with the wormer. And that tubing and that gun needs to be correctly calibrated. Often on the gun it will have a mils dial, but this doesn't always work. So it's really important before every session of using a pour-on that you make sure that the gun is giving the right amount of mils that you think it is and that it's telling you. The other thing is, once finished, it's really important to clean your equipment properly, flush it all through with warm soapy water, flush the tube through, flush the gun through, and also then leave it to dry so that no residue stays in the equipment.